Hello, hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to today's video. I am so excited to be diving into this video, and today I'm going to talk about challenging the status quo, challenging the things that are showing up on your feed, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or even YouTube, and really helping you start diving into listening to that inner truth. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Melissa, and this is the Sacredness Within You. I have created this channel to really help you rediscover that sacredness that's within you, that magic that's within you, that's here to help you create the life that you desire. And also, too, I'm here to help bring healing to those of you that are primarily feminine energy, because I have this mission to be able to help as many women step into their feminine essence and really create the life that they came here to live. So in today's video, I actually don't even know where to start because I feel like I'm inundated with so many things to talk about this and how to get started on it. But the one thing that I want to share with you is that a lot of what I share is based on my personal experience and what it is that I have experienced, what did I learn from it, and then pass it on to you. And you can take that knowledge, you can take that wisdom and start applying it to your life. Because I truly believe that we are in a time in our evolution as humans where we are no longer needing to learn things the hard way, or we're not meant to go through all this struggle. And if you are, that to be able to open yourself up, to be able to receive guidance and wisdom from others to help you on your journey. But with that being said, it's also very important for you to use discernment and to take only what resonates with you. Even when you're listening to my videos, along with any other videos, take what resonates with you and discard the rest. You will hear me say that over and over and over again, because honestly, I wish I truly understood that in the very beginning of my journey. And what I mean by resonance, if you're not familiar with it, is this knowing of whatever someone is saying is your truth. And sometimes, like right now as I'm talking about, I'm getting goosebumps on my arms. For me, I get goosebumps on my arms. Sometimes I sneeze. Sometimes I feel this peace, like this calm within me. Whatever it may be, you need to find out, what does that feel like to you? And what does resonance feel like to you? Because whatever it is that I'm saying or another person is saying is helping you remember your truth. And that is coming up to surface to you to embody that and to live that and be like, oh yes, this is what I'm meant to do. Or this is a belief that I'm starting to rediscover about myself, or to start embodying about who I am. Because in the very beginning of my journey, I actually didn't even know that I was awakening probably until like 9 months to a year after I actually started awakening. And I knew at a young age that when I brought children into this world, that they would not have the same struggles that I had in life. And I didn't know what that meant as I got older, because I started taking on conditioning around me, just like you have, and I started really being molded to what society thought was a highly functioning and successful human being. And when I started my journey of awakening, I actually listened to my inner voice, my intuition of this is what I needed to do in order to help me rediscover that magic that was in me, the truth that was in me. And I was just following the guidance that I was receiving. I didn't know where this guidance was coming from, but I trusted it because it was making me feel a certain way that I never had felt before. Like I had this peace, this calmness, this faith, like this trust in knowing that what I was receiving was right. And actually what happened to me is, once I actually started learning that I was awakening and then started learning that I was on, actually I learned that I was a twin flame first, and then I realized I was awakening. And it was like once I had these like labels attached to me, because I took them on as, oh, now I am a twin flame, so I need to experience this. Or I'm awakening now, so I need to experience this. Because my typical pattern, which is played out over and over and over again in my life, is that I will discard my inner knowing, and I will always take on the truth of others, especially those that have more education than I do, who have more experience than I do. Because I think, oh, how could me, this person that's just starting this path, have all this knowing? And this person that's been on this journey for much longer clearly needs to, that clearly has more like wisdom than I have, right? Well, that's my pattern, is I discredit who I am, I play small, I don't trust my intuition. And that's what happened to me in the very beginning of my journey. I wasn't using discernment. I wasn't taking what resonated with me and discarded the rest. And so what happened to me was I got off the wrong path. And I say this kind of sarcastically, because you can never be on the wrong path. Never, ever, 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 ever. You're always on the right path. And remember that any and every possibility that could ever happen has already happened, and you're just aligning to that based on where your frequency is right now. And I've learned that as a 3-5 projector, I am here to experience all that life has to offer. Like, my soul loves to experience everything to the depths that it can. And sometimes that means taking a long way to get to where it is that I'm going. Because when I take that way, I'm learning things and then saying, oh my gosh, this is what I'm learning. Now, how can I apply this to my life? And then I pass it on and share it as wisdom, because where we are at in our evolution as humans, I really truly believe that we need to start acting as if, like we've already gone down a certain path by taking the wisdom from others. And what I mean by that is, so let's say, oh my gosh, I don't even know what example to give you. So basically what I mean by is, a lot of us have this belief that we have to learn lessons the hard way, right? And that we're meant to go through all this suffering and pain and struggle. But for some of us, that's not our truth. Like, our truth is to take a different way, a way of ease and grace and flow. And in order to get there, for some of you out there, is to take the wisdom that, coaches and healers and teachers are giving to you, and you start applying it to your life. So you don't have to go through that same experience. Like, you get to bypass that basically without actually bypassing it, because you're gathering that information, you're doing the inner work, the healing, before you need to even allow that pain and suffering and struggle to come in. Does that make sense? So I think about like, I wish I could give you an example, and right now I don't have an example, because what it is that they're wanting me to share with you is that you don't have to go through that struggle. You can take that information, apply it to your life, like I was saying, and have that ease, that grace, and flow in life, because that is really how life is meant to be. We've just been conditioned to believe whatever it is that you believe. And, during our awakening, we get to go through and we really get to start looking at these beliefs and these conditionings that we take on and ask ourselves, is this our truth? And majority of the time it is no. It's not ours. Like, we took it on from our family lineage. We took it from our society. We took it from influential people in our reality. And so when I realized that I was going down this path and really not listening to my inner voice, I wasn't taking what was resonating with me and discarding what didn't. I was taking everything as truth. Like, this is a path that I needed to take. And now that I've taken this, I really have realized that that's not life, the way life is supposed to be. During your awakening, it's really about rediscovering your truth and following, what it is that you're meant to experience here. Because we have free will. We have free will to experience whatever we want to experience. And the things that we get to experience in our reality right now are based on choices that we've made in the past. And so my number one thing that I want to talk about is to use discernment in terms of anything that you hear in terms of your path of awakening, or whatever it is that you may be learning, whether it's something in school or a certain way of doing things. Use your discernment, because here's the thing that I hear so often in some aspects of spirituality. I've heard this in the fitness industry when I worked in there. I've heard it, in like the service industry, and just really so much more, is that there's only one way of doing things. And there's only one way to get results if you want to lose weight. There's only one way to your path of awakening to, reach the highest level of enlightenment that you will in this life, whatever it may be. Here's what I'm going to tell you is, if you have that mentality, like, I'm going to ask you to do the inner work to let go of that, because there are multiple ways in terms of where it is that you need to go. Like, I'm going to give you an example. So I live in Minnesota. Say I wanted to travel to California to go to LA. Let's just talk about all the different ways in terms of transportation of how I can get there. I could walk, I could bike, I could run, I could take a bus, I could take a car, I could take a train, I could fly, right? I could take a helicopter. There's many different ways, right? And through each modality that I were to take, I would have a different experience. I mean, in terms of like the people that I encountered, how long it would take, the feelings that I would have. I mean, the list would go on. So that's just the modality of getting there. Now let's talk about the route. Say you are driving a car. You chose driving to LA from Minnesota. The amount of options that you have in terms of how you can get there is a lot, right? It's probably thousands of routes you could take, maybe even millions. I don't even know. But every route that you're going to take is going to get you there. And with that being said, it's about the experience that you're going to have on each and every route. Because remember, in our reality and in our existence, we can't see this in the 3D level, but every single choice that you have made, it's already been created in the reality. You're just aligning to that based on your frequency and your vibration. So there is really no right or wrong way. And so when I say that I got off path, I really didn't, because I got to learn what it is that I learned, and I get to share it with you. And so keep that in mind. But also too, when I think about traveling, if I were to travel from Minneapolis to LA, for me, I would say, what would be the most enjoyable, the fastest way that I could get there so I could spend more time in LA? Clearly, like in my mind right now, I'm thinking airplane, right? To fly there probably takes like 4 hours from here. I would get to encounter and meet some new people probably. I would have a really fast experience getting there. And it would be like what we would consider in the spiritual world the highest timeline available. If I were to walk there, it may take me months, right? But along the way, I'm going to have a completely different experience. So it's also too about what experience you want to have along the way. And sometimes we need to repeat certain patterns or certain beliefs, because we're meant to experience that path again, because we still have something that we need to learn. And so if you hear somebody say there's only one way to, go down this path of awakening, or only one way to weight loss, or only one way to meditate, whatever it may be, run. Or you could stay and listen to them and take on what it is that they have to say and take what resonates with you and discard the rest. But from my experience, I always would just run, because I'm like, oh no, There's more than one way to get to wherever it is that you need to go. The second point that I want to make is that we need to use discernment and find resonance in the things that we are nourishing ourselves with. And when I say nourishing, remember, it's not about just food. It's about what we hear, what we see, what we smell. The environment that we surround ourselves in is always nourishing us. It's part of like how we condition ourselves as well. So when you are scrolling through TikTok or on YouTube or perhaps even on Instagram or Facebook, absorbing all this content, you have to be able to use discernment and say, like, is this what fits for where I am right now on my path? And find that resonance. If you're not familiar with resonance and how that feels in your body, it's really important for you to discover that. For me, sometimes I'll sneeze, I'll get goosebumps. Sometimes there's this like sense of peace that comes over me. But to find that resonance, to find that truth, because there's so many teachers and guides and coaches out there, and you have to be able to align to those who help you find that resonance within you, because some are not meant for you to work with. Like some of you watching this, you're probably not meant to work with me, and I'm okay with that. And then there's a lot of you that are meant to work with me. But what I want to say is to use discernment and question the things that you come across, because the reason why I'm sharing this and talking about this today is I have heard this kind of quote or phrase in multiple different ways over the last like 3 or 4 months. And I heard it several other times in my journey as well. And I'm going to paraphrase it because I can't remember the exact quote, and I couldn't find it when I wanted it. But basically what it said is that you cannot heal and grow in the same situation that hurt you or traumatized you. And I want you to think about that for a minute. Like, think about, how does that make you feel on the inside when you hear that? Is it your truth? Is it resonance within you? Does it bring you peace? Does it say, yeah, like that's my truth? Or is it making you feel a different way? Like, that's not really meant for me. Like, that's not my truth. And for me, that isn't my truth, because I am actually meant to grow in situations that are very similar to the situations that I was hurt in or traumatized in. So I'm going to give you an example. So when I grew up, I incarnated into a family where I wasn't wanted. Like, I was an unexpected, unplanned pregnancy that was in third-party energy. If you're not familiar with third-party energy, it means that there are 3 individuals involved. So what I mean by that is my dad was still with another woman while he got my mom pregnant. My mom was 17, and I chose to experience that because I'm here to heal that part within my lineage, but also to heal that part within the collective of humanity as well. And because of that, my mom resented me a lot. She blamed me for, quote unquote, ruining her life. And that because of me, she couldn't do all the things that she wanted to do in life. So it was my fault. And as a child, I took that on. And so as a result of it, I felt like my needs were never met, like that my needs weren't important when I did express them. So I was like, well, I'm never going to get my needs met, so I need to not have needs. And my mom at various times in my life was always very jealous of me. She made it clear that she resented me at times, and the love that I got from her, it was conditionally. And so I always tried to please her as much as I could, because I knew if she was in a better mood, that most likely I was going to receive some type of affection, some type of love. And from my mom, sometimes it could simply be like, like touching me, like by like holding my hand, or a nice word maybe that she said, or a phrase. And so I would take whatever it is that I could. And because of the situation and the relationship that I have with my mom, I decided that I would play small in life, that I wasn't important, and that whatever I said didn't matter, and I dimmed my light. And throughout the course of my whole entire life, I repeated this pattern within jobs, within relationships, within friendships, within almost in roommate situations, in so many different ways. What happens was, because I didn't learn that and heal that part of me, I recreated the same scenario with just different people throughout my lifetime. And every time I would realize that I would have recreated it, I would think of that phrase, because that phrase has come up multiple times, of being like, well, I'm not going to be able to heal here, so I need to leave this situation. And I'm not going to be able to become the person who I'm meant to be because I need to leave this situation. So I would leave. Well, guess what would happen? In a matter of like months, sometimes days, weeks, the exact same situation would appear in my reality. And sometimes this can become what we call repetition compulsion, from past lives and then in this life as well. But I've learned that I am meant to grow and shine my light and be seen by myself and by some others around me in the exact same scenario that I was traumatized in. I have a very similar situation in work right now, and obviously I know that the people that are representing my mom in this case will never see me in the way that I see myself, but that's okay, because I'm not there to convince them. I'm not there to get them to like me or to approve of me. I'm here in that situation to grow and shine my light and to embody who it is that I'm meant to be because of the experiences that I've had. And I'm not going to let those experiences dim me anymore. So I hope that example kind of gives you an idea of what it is that I'm saying. So sometimes some of us are meant to grow in that environment, especially if you're like, I like to use my human design a lot. So I'm a 3/5 emotional projector. And the 3/5 part of me loves to experience everything that I can. And that's why I take the long way to get to where it is I'm going, because my soul really wants me to experience as much as I can. My ego doesn't always like it, but I really want you to start using your discernment and saying, like, is this for me? Like, is this my truth? Because I think oftentimes when we start looking to others who have been on this path longer or have more knowledge or wisdom than us, we don't think of ourselves as equal as them. But the reality is all of us are equal. All of us have this incredible wisdom that's within us, and we're here to really discover our truth and really start tapping into that so we can really start creating the life that we desire. So I really want you to start looking at things with discernment. Is this for me, or is this not for me? Because I think oftentimes too, what I realize is on our path, like a lot of us, if you're like me, struggle with perfectionism or afraid of making the wrong choice or making a mistake in life. So we have a hard time deciding. We have a hard time going, well, if I go down this way, is it the right way? Or if I go down this way, is this the right way? Like, we're so afraid to take that step. And here's the thing that I'm going to tell you to do is to take that step no matter what. Like, even if you are unsure, because within that unsureness, you're going to find your sureness. You're going to find, like, is this the path that I should have taken, or is it not? And if it's not, then you always have the ability to do the work to get on to a new timeline, a new path. And so I wanted to just talk about that a little bit, because I feel like so many times we're caught in this mindset of like, it has to be one way. Like I even think about, in terms of the modalities that we have to help us on our path. Like I've used energy healing. Like I'm a big fan of energy healing and inner work. And we do our inner work by first through awareness, being aware of our patterns and things and our beliefs and things that are coming to surface. And once we're aware of that, we can dive into the energetic or the inner work around it to heal that part of us. But also too, what I've learned is that everything also leaves an energetic blueprint. And so we have to be able to energetically release that. And some of the things that we have experienced in past lives follow us into this life, you know? And so we have to go back and then heal that part of us. And we can do all of that through energy healing. So I'm a big fan of energy healing and inner work. I've also used various types of energy healing. So there's various types of healing out there for energy work. Again, you have to align with what resonates with you. And then there's books that I have read. There are spiritual teachers that I have followed. There are, meditations that I've done. There's healing frequencies that I've done, like sound baths. I mean, even like yoga, breath work, somatic work. What else? All of that has played an essential role in who I have become today. Do I practice that all the time? No. Like, I align with what I meant to do at this phase of my journey. But there are some things that are very essential to my path. Like, for me, my daily meditation practice is super essential. And I know that when I don't practice it, I'm living more in my ego, because I'm not tapping into who it is that I am. I'm not practicing being still and being super present in order to receive downloads and messages in terms of how I should be moving forward in my journey. And then also too, like yoga and connecting to nature is also too very healing for me. And my daily, myself Reiki practice has been super essential in my journey as a healer, but also to helping me heal, because if I don't know how it works on me, how am I gonna be able to talk about it in terms of how it can work on others, And so I always tend to practice what it is that I preach, which is really important, I believe, but also too, just because I'm sharing about it and just because I'm speaking about it doesn't necessarily mean that is right for you. And depending on where you are in your journey, you're going to be utilizing different modalities, different ways to help you on your path. So my friends, I hope this video helped you in some way, shape, or form. And I hope it allows you to really start tapping into that inner knowing that is within you, that wisdom that's within you, and really aligning to that. Because the more that you can take parts of what people are saying that are resonating with you, it's going to help you, align to your truth. It's going to help you align to your highest timeline and be able to navigate through life in a more meaningful, more fulfilling way. And so I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you're like me and you're meant to experience a long way to get there, or are you meant to really start using, your discernment and taking what resonates with you and discarding the rest, and no longer learning and having to experience life through struggle and suffering. But also to give this video a thumbs up so the video can get connected to other like-minded individuals such as yourself, and share this with anybody that you would find value from it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because I'm posting videos as much as I can whenever I feel inspired to share something with you. And then also too, if you're feeling called to dive more into your inner work and into your path of awakening, I do have a couple programs available to you. So starting December 1st, I am launching Activate Your Sacredness. It's a monthly subscription for women who are on the path of awakening, and we're really diving into some healing modalities and techniques to be able to help bring healing to your inner feminine, so you can start embodying more of that aspect of you. And then also too, I have launched Awaken, which is a one-on-one healing and coaching program to heal the inner feminine within you. And I have one-on-one healing and coaching sessions available as well. So I will link everything in the description box. And I do have a couple specials running right now in terms of Awaken and Activate Your Sacredness until November 30th. I'll be offering a discount. And then once December 1st rolls around, then they'll be offered at its regular price. So my friends, I'm sending you all so much love and light, and I'm so honored to be with you on this path. And until next time.